He conquered half of Europe in less than 2 years, and then spent the rest of the war trying to undo it. This is a story of how one man's ego, paranoia, and terrible decision-making turned a world war into a world-ending disaster for himself. Adolf Hitler, a man who thought he was a genius, until reality disagreed. He didn't lose because the Allies were perfect. He lost because he couldn't stop being himself. So today, we're counting down the 5 biggest, dumbest, most world-changing mistakes that made Nazi Germany implode faster than a Luftwaffe engine in winter. Mistake number 1. Invading the Soviet Union in winter. Again, there's a special place in military history for people who invade Russia in winter and expect it to go well. Napoleon tried it in 1812. Hitler thought, hey, maybe I can make it work. Spoiler, he could not. Operation Barbarossa launched in June 1941. Hitler wanted Lebensraum, living space in the east. But his lightning war, or blitzkrieg, forgot one minor detail. Russia is enormous. Supply lines stretched hundreds of miles, fuel froze, soldiers starved, and tanks turned into ice sculptures. Fun fact, German soldiers were wrapping their feet in newspaper because they didn't have proper winter boots. Because apparently, the German high command thought Russia's snow was temporary. The result? 4 million Axis troops stuck in mud, frostbite, and total chaos. Hitler refused to retreat because ego logic. The Soviets counterattacked, and the Eastern Front became a frozen graveyard for the Nazi war machine. Lesson learned, never start a land war in Asia, especially if your weather app says -30 degree. Mistake number 2, declaring war on the United States for no reason. December 1941, Japan attacks Pearl Harbor. The U.S. declares war on Japan. Everyone expected America to focus on the Pacific. But then, Hitler opens his mouth. Out of pure arrogance, Germany declares war on the United States, even though Roosevelt hadn't declared war on Germany yet. That's right. Hitler started a fight with the world's largest industrial power for free. It's like punching a sleeping bear and then being surprised when it wakes up angry. What followed? The full might of the American economy and military poured into Europe. Tanks, planes, money, manpower. Germany went from fighting the UK and USSR to taking on the entire planet. All because Hitler wanted to look tough in front of his Axis buddies, which worked out about as well as you'd expect. Germany's war became unwinnable overnight, because when you're outnumbered, outproduced, and out of your mind, the ending writes itself. Mistake number 3, micromanaging the military, like a gamer with a god complex. Hitler loved giving orders. In fact, he thought he was better than his generals, the people who actually studied warfare. He'd interfere with every plan, demand impossible attacks, and refuse to listen to advice. Imagine your boss playing Call of Duty, except it's real life and millions of people die when he rage quits. The Battle of Stalingrad? Hitler ordered no retreat, even as his troops were surrounded. Result, 300,000 German soldiers encircled, starved, captured, or frozen. The Sixth Army ceased to exist, and Hitler's obsession with control turned a tactical defeat into a national catastrophe. By 1944, even his generals joked that it was easier to fight the Red Army than to argue with Hitler. Mein Führer, maybe we should pull back. No, send more men. We don't have more men. Then send less. The man who thought he could command the weather, tanks, and fate ended up commanding nothing but failure. Mistake number 4, ignoring science and sanity, the V-weapon obsession. Hitler loved wonder weapons, rockets, superguns, UFO-shaped tanks, anything that sounded like comic book evil genius material. He believed these miracle weapons could turn the war around, even as his armies were collapsing. It's like trying to fix your sinking ship by buying a faster anchor. Millions of marks were wasted on prototype weapons that arrived too late or didn't work. Sure, the V-2 rocket was impressive. It could fly across the channel and explode. But it didn't change the war. It just terrorized civilians and drained resources Germany desperately needed elsewhere. Meanwhile, Allied scientists were working on radar, computing, and code breaking, things that actually won wars. Hitler bet on sci-fi dreams. The Allies bet on math. And math won. Mistake number 5. Trusting nobody, not even reality. As the war dragged on, Hitler's paranoia became his biggest enemy. He trusted no one. Not his generals, not his allies, not even his own intelligence reports. Everyone was lying, everyone was a traitor, and he alone had the vision. By 1945, he was making decisions based on fantasy maps and imaginary armies. He ordered counterattacks by divisions that didn't exist. He ignored every warning, every fact, every ounce of reason. It turns out, when your entire strategy is built on denial, reality eventually invades too. In the end, Berlin fell. The 1,000-year Reich lasted barely 12, and Hitler died surrounded by the ruins of his own delusion. Proof that even the most powerful man in the world can lose a war. To himself, Hitler didn't just lose a war. He lost control of logic, humanity, and reality. Every one of his master plans was built on arrogance, and every one collapsed under its own stupidity. In the end, the greatest enemy of Nazi Germany was Nazi Germany. So the next time you see a dictator shouting about destiny, remember, they all think they're geniuses. Until the snow falls. But Hitler wasn't the only one. In the next episode, a brilliant empire launches the dumbest sneak attack in modern history and pays the ultimate price. Because war teaches lessons, usually the hard way. Don't forget to watch the next episode. When Japan attacked the wrong target. The Pearl Harbor Miscalculation. Subscribe to keep the story alive and never miss a new breakdown of history's biggest tactical facepalms.